Welcome back, folks. Well, we're back on our Hurst Olds today, our 69 Hurst Olds. So I got a couple things we're going to do to this thing today. I made one adjustment on the choke on the Quadrajet. I'm trying to get this choke dialed in for Scott when it returns so he can go out there and enjoy a car that didn't have to sit there and keep feathering with the gas and playing with it to get it to warm up. So we got that. We also got our fan clutch we're going to put on this car. I've just been studying what all I'm going to have to do to get everything off to replace the clutch. But I can already tell we've got the new clutch in from Summit. And this thing is really, now it should be loose when it's cold, and when it warms up, it starts locking in. But, you know, in a previous video, we got it hot and I could still spin it. So we'll get to that in a moment. But let's see what happens on this clutch. Let me show you what I did on this choke. So I made one adjustment, and I went and put the rod, I went from the forward hole to the rearward hole. I don't think it was pulling the choke down off the pull-off far enough. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and give it gas. So this cam right here is sticking or something, because when I pull it up and then, yeah, something's going on here with this cam. Now my choke is moving. So you guys tell me. All right, now I backed off the fast idle right here, and it's loose. This cam is now loose where it's allowing the choke, but the choke is not pulling this thing down. Yeah, maybe. But now this is loose. Okay. So my friend Larry said, I think that's right about where it should be right there. So before I do anything else, I'm going to make an adjustment on this top hole right here. Let's see what happens real quick. Now theoretically, it should start expanding, pushing up here. It should eventually start opening up. Just really quick, I think the reason why this linkage, the fast idle cam, is in a bind is because that rod on the choke may need to be bent to pull it down enough to make it, pretty sure, to make this relieve that cam and let it spring the choke back. So I bent the arm just a little bit, but I also noticed, look at that on the carburetor, somebody has bent the linkage right there on the carb itself, right here. You see it kicked over a little bit. So I may try to play with that as well. Now, if you look at the manifold, you see the discoloration. That tells you that it would not have, because Oldsmobiles, this is like an exhaust crossover. So when this was rebuilt, that's normal. They're supposed to discolor like that. So maybe it's not. Yeah, maybe it's not. I don't know. But we'll check that out later. I'm going to play with that, try to bend that linkage back correctly. But I think it might be that we didn't have enough pressure on this thing to pull down to activate that fast idle cam. Jeez. That thing is, I think if I get it off on the fast idle, yeah, it's still at a, man, it's, look at that. So what gives here? What am I can feel it's got pressure on it here. So where is that coming from? Is that coming from, maybe coming from this rod? Yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult. This is in a bind right in here. Oh, I'm gonna play with this for a second. Okay, I removed the choke spring, and this is all nice and free. But that, being in a bind, or excuse me, being at an angle, I'm wondering if this is creating it to be in a bind against the rod. I'm going to try to straighten this up, and I'm going to take that chuck. We should be able to move this thing up and down. I think this is a big part of our issue. So put it on the fast idler on the choke. Yeah, let's play with this for a second. See if I can straighten that up. Okay, I used my needle noses and I just straightened this arm up that the spring from the choke activates. Now it's straight up and down. We know damn well that when this thing was new, it was not cocked over to the side like that. So now let's put the choke on. Let's see if it's still in a bind. Okay, now look at this thing. It is free as it can be. No more binding. All right, I think we're now. What I think needs to happen is the next morning I need to come out here and probably when I hit that throttle wide open, this thing should activate the fast idle. And I think what we need to do is, I've seen other people talking about bending this arm just enough. So what I'll probably do is adjust it, not until I know what it's going to do when I go into fast idle. When you give it throttle, it pulls up. As soon as it pulls up on this should pull down and keep it on the fast idle. So yeah, I think that's what's going on. All right, now on to our fan clutch. All right, now let's get this fan off and put our new clutch on. Just comparing the new clutch here to the old clutch, looks to be spot on. Yeah. This one's a 27052431. This one's a 2705211125. They both got the arrow going the same way. So, yeah. Well, let's see what happens. Let's get this thing put back together. All right, I got all of them in. I had to take them all back out because I got one of these washers got behind the flange. I don't know how I did that, but that can only happen to me. It's typical dumb luck of mine. But pay attention to what you're doing. Don't do what I did. Make sure it's flush against your pulley. I'll go all around it several times. I bump the starter so I can get to everything. I use there's a more open spot right here in the fan. And then I use my long wrench to seat it down really good with those lock washers. So let's get this thing put back together. All right, so we got everything buttoned back up. So now I think it's time to fire this thing up and let's see if this clutch makes any difference. We're gonna have to get some heat in it. I may put some Freon in it because I'm pretty sure it's pretty low while it's heating up. Maybe I'll turn the AC on, get it to run a little bit hotter, but let's get this thing fired up. Something I'm concerned about. Why do I not have a temperature drop? 204, 206. There should be at least a 30-degree temperature drop here. on this other side. My dumb, there we go. Okay, maybe it is now. Maybe it is now. Yeah, it's working. The radiator's working. Well, let's do the hose. Yeah, there's 180, 177, 180, excuse me, 190, 188, 186, 185. That's on the hose. You say 190. I'm not seeing a big temperature drop in this. Running 205, 207. Again, I'm running the air conditioner at idle, but that doesn't matter. It should be. It's getting closer to the halfway mark. Let's see what the heads are. 219. It's a cylinder head now. All right, I'm gonna kill it, and let's see what this. Let's see what this fan does. I mean, it's not even at the halfway mark. I've been running the AC for this is a good 30 minutes now, so it's still below the halfway mark. Let's turn this thing off. All right. Now, let's see what this fan does. That fan is still loose. Look at that. I can still spin it. All right, now what's going on there? Why? Why? Why in the hell can I still spin that fan? Shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be that loose. Do I have a bad clutch? It's not right. No. Look at that. You gotta be kidding me. That thing's just as bad as the other one. No. That thing should be. I should be able to do that. No. No. All right, let me gather my thoughts on this. Well, folks, I'm pretty sure we got a bad fan clutch. And this has happened to me actually before on another Oldsmobile. Actually, you shouldn't do that. Nope. That thing should be really stiff. And it didn't really feel like it was. Anyway, we're going to leave it here. I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to still play with this choke. I feel like we're getting that figured out now. It's just a matter of adjusting that rod. And we're going to go from there. So if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe, guys and gals. And I hope y'all have a great Sunday. Thank you.